I'm on the phone with head football coach Mark Arnold from the MDI Trojans. And, Coach, you've had the weekend to look at the game and at the film, and after being on the sidelines, tell me your thoughts after the game against Ellsworth this past Friday.
Well, the best thing is we came out of it healthy. So
that is an important thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, definitely. As we move into week one here, we're happy. We had one guy who was out. He'd suffered a really mild concussion in our Waterville scrimmage, and he should be back this week. We had someone in the game, one of our linemen, who we kept playing him for a while, but then we took him out. He'd rolled his ankle. Somebody rolled up on it, but it seems pretty mild. And I talked to him yesterday, and he said it was feeling good. It wasn't swollen up. So I think we'll have everybody healthy going into this week, which is a good thing. But as far as the game goes, it was nice to get out on the field and have the clock running and more of a game situation than we have in that first scrimmage, and to see our growth from the early part of the week when we went down to Waterville to the you really don't get a whole lot of practice time between that Monday and then playing again on Friday. But I was very happy with our growth during the week and what we saw from players, especially you get a good bit of time to see your second guys in this contest compared to the scrimmage, and I'm really happy with our young guys and our new guys and how they improved over the first, their first go in Waterville.
I thought that the offense looked pretty sharp. They moved the ball. I thought Baylor made some nice reads. I thought Cody Modine was wide open, when you're that far open, it's like, oh my gosh, am I going to catch the ball? But I thought that the offense did very well.
Yep. That same thing like you said about the catch that Cody Modine made. It was a good pass, but man, sometimes when you're wide open, it's easy to lose that focus and be thinking about the end zone. And he did a nice job hanging on to the football and converting that for a score for us. But one thing is in our summer time, our work with the kids, we have those Wednesday night practices all summer long, and we really focus on our offense at that time. It's hard in the summer to really, put in a dedicated, we don't know what we're going to face, and so spending your time doing as much defense work in the summer as far as lining up as a team isn't something we spend as much time doing over the course of the summer. So you can see that paying off, especially early on in the players, understanding what we're doing, executing their roles more efficiently on offense, and that's just natural, I think, at this point in the year. So I was, happy to see our offense do so well and improve from Monday, but we saw some good things defensively as well.
I thought Elijah Joyce, too, just getting back to the offense, over 200 yards. He was a man amongst boys carrying the ball on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, on both sides of the ball, their quarterback, Javon, and Elijah on our team, those are, two athletes that have been playing football for a long time and have a lot of athletic ability, and they're strong kids. They play multiple sports, and that's contributed to their athletic abilities, and that showed certainly on Friday night.
And Elijah doesn't get open without the work of the offensive line, who I thought played well.
Yep. That's really the depth of our team returning from last season. We have a number of all-conference players that are returning in our offensive line, and it's nice to see them. the work that you put in the first couple of weeks, that helps big guys like that, and they're starting to get in better shape, and they know their assignments, and they really did a nice job for us on Friday.
So what do you work on this week? I mean, obviously special teams, because kickoff returns, coverage. We didn't do that on Friday night, and also punting wasn't live as well, although I think whoever your punter was, I can't recall, got off some good punts.
Yeah, Baylor, our quarterback, just dropped back and punted for us. I'm not positive that'll be the case. One of the things with a transition in our coaching staff, and we put in a lot of new offense, and our defense is different than last year. That's taken a little bit of time away from us that we normally have put into that special teams practice, and you don't want to sacrifice that. It really is. There are big plays always, and we've talked about that in the past. That's a third of the football game, and not only are they important plays, but they always seem, you have a big play on special teams, and that's just a big momentum change. And I mean, if you score a touchdown and you kick a ball off and somebody returns it all the way, that's a 180 flip in momentum. And so this week definitely we'll be focusing on, layering in our special teams work, being crisp about that so that we feel good about that going into our first game.
It was the first game of the season. There were a couple uncharacteristic penalties. How do you address that?
Well, the same thing. That's the other part, especially early in the season. I think that early in the season, all season long, special teams, turnovers, and penalties play a critical role in the game, and that's the discipline that you work on building into your team. And we'll be stressing all three of those things again this week, that how important they are in all games, but especially early on. I think, you do see more penalties, especially it seems early in the season. I was actually quite happy, overall. I don't know if referees are just getting their
there is preseason for them as well.
Right, and so it's sometimes hard to tell whether, hey, maybe they're not calling it as tight or whatever. But we did have a couple of penalties. I wasn't happy. We had a personal foul call on somebody jumping in late on a pile, and it seems like you just got to get on your players and let them know kind of what your stance is about that. And we certainly address that at the end of the game, that we don't want to see any of those fouls. Those are things we can definitely control. It's not like holding, that's sometimes kind of a questionable call. Those are just things we can't have. And the one that we had later, I think it was a late hit on the quarterback, and I think that I would have argued that maybe in the regular season.
Right.
I certainly didn't think he hit him late or hit him aggressively, and but they are calling things closer, and we talk to our kids about that, especially with those types of things. Safety is important to us. We care about our kids, and so we want to stress that with our kids moving forward as well.
So talk a little bit about the week ahead. You've got practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and then tonight, obviously, Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a walkthrough on Thursday. Not a lot of time to do everything you want to get done.
Nope. I mean, as you move through a season, one of the things that we always kind of, as coaches, we've talked about in the past, certain teams in our conference, they play more Saturday games, and they kind of get that extra day in the week to practice, and that adds up over a season. I mean, if you're a team that plays, 5 extra, your 4 home games, and then you end up getting into the playoffs, you end up really in a season having about a week's more practice than other teams. And we play the majority of games that we have on Friday nights, so it's important for us to get in here on Monday. We've really cut down the amount of time that we spend watching film. We used to pretty much just lift weights and watch some film with the kids on Monday, and that's changed a lot as the technology has changed. We use Huddle, and we have our kids, we have an expectation. We know they want to watch their game film, so anytime that we make it accessible to them, they've watched it before they come in on Monday. But the thing is, with Huddle, what we're able to do is we're able to mark up that film and provide, more specific feedback to them as a learning tool as they're watching the film. And so we kind of have shifted that to an expectation that we have, hey, if you're going to watch film over the weekend, whether it's our film or when we're posting our opponent's film, we want them to start reading those comments that we're making as coaches and getting that extra learning in on the weekend, so that we come in today and today we'll spend a very short amount of time highlighting some film, just about 15 minutes, and we'll still get them in the weight room today, but that does leave us more time to get out on the field on Monday, and it really gives us, what we do on Monday is really break down our scouting report of the other team, and if we have any changes that we want to make going into the week, then we put those in today, so that then when we get out tomorrow on the field, we can really get going with that and do, get moving more, simulating their plays on offense, and then on defense, getting in the defense that our offense will be, going against on the weekend. And we do that again on Wednesday. And Thursday is just it's really almost a walkthrough practice where you just go through everything, make sure it's for us as coaches, it's also a time we do just enough on Thursday to see, hey, is there anything that we're basically testing the kids to see if they're confused about something, or things don't look as crisp as we want them to, and that's a day for us as coaches. We meet at the end and talk about, hey, this really didn't look sharp. Maybe we need to take that out for the game, so that what we go into the game with are things we think we can execute well.
All right, busy week, no doubt.
Yep.
Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you on Thursday, and have a great week.
All right, sounds great, Chris. You have a good week too.